Good day everyone. For today's video, we will be talking about the missing chapter of Noli, which is the Elias and Salome chapter. So there's this line that says by Dr. Jose Rizal, "Fled are the days of ease, the days of love's delight, when flowers did would please and give to suffering souls a crease from pain and sorrow's blight." So these lines express deep sadness and longing for the past when it says, "Fled are the days of ease." It means that the peaceful and happy times are already gone, that there was once a time when life felt lighter and not full of problems, but that time has passed. So the phrase "the days of love's delights" talks about the joyful moments of being in love and when love brought comfort, warmth, and happiness. It suggests that those sweet and beautiful moments are no longer present. And the line "when flowers still would please" uses flowers as a symbol of simple joys and beauty, that before even small and simple things like flowers could make a person smile and feel better, that life was not yet too heavy. And the next line, "and give to suffering souls a grace," means that these simple joys and love once gave relief to people who were hurting, that the word "grace" means to stop or to bring rest, so it shows that love and beauty once helped ease emotional pain. However, the final line, that from the pain and sorrow's blight, shows that sadness and suffering have now taken over. That blight means damage or destruction, so pain and sorrow have already ruined that happiness. Overall, those lines describe a change from happiness to suffering, that they show how love and simple joys once helped heal emotional wounds, but now those comforting days are gone. The speaker feels that the present is filled with pain, and the beauty and love that once brought relief can no longer protect the heart from sorrow. So, not many people are aware that Noli originally had an extra chapter that was not included in the final printed version. So this missing chapter, titled Elias and Salome, was part of the original handwritten manuscript of Rizal, that it was supposed to come after chapter in the woods. However, Rizal crossed it out using a blue pencil, which means he decided to remove it before the novel was officially published. Even though it was deleted, the chapter was not meaningless, so a careful reading shows that it connects clearly with the main story and events of the novel. So it explains what happens in that missing chapter. It tells about Elias' escape during the picnic scene when the Guardia Civil arrived to arrest him. This connects directly to the existing events in the novel, helping readers understand what happened to Elias after that intense moment. And aside from his escape, the chapter also shows his emotional side through his painful farewell with Salome, a beautiful orphan girl who loved him. This part adds depth to Elias' character because it reveals that he was not only a brave and mysterious man fighting against injustice, but also someone capable of love and sacrifice. That overall, this emphasizes that although the chapter was removed, it still plays an important role in understanding the story and Elias as a person. So, the practical reason why Jose Rizal deleted the chapter Elias and Salome from Noli Me Tangere, it was during the time Rizal was finishing the novel in Berlin. He was experiencing serious financial problems, so he did not have enough money to fully support the printing of his book. That printing a novel in the 18th was very expensive, and the total cost depended on how many pages the manuscript had. So the longer the book, the higher the printing expenses. So because Rizal was struggling with a lack of funds, he needed to reduce the number of pages to make the cost more affordable. So as a result, he decided to shorten the manuscript by removing certain parts, including the chapter Elias and Salome. So this decision was not necessarily because the chapter was unimportant, but because he had no other practical choice. So Rizal was determined to publish the novel despite his financial difficulties, so he sacrificed the chapter to ensure the book could be printed. So this shows how committed he was to finishing and publishing Noli Me Tangere, even if it meant giving up a meaningful part of his work. So, because of financial difficulties, Jose Rizal revised and shortened several chapters of Noli Me Tangere to reduce printing costs. So, since printing expenses depended on the number of pages, Rizal had to make the manuscript more compact. To save even more money, he decided to completely remove one full chapter, which is the Elias and Salome, without damaging the overall flow of the story. So the deletion was not because the chapter lacked meaning or connection to the plot, but purely for economic reasons. So Rizal simply could not afford a longer book at that time. However, the removal of this chapter greatly affected the character of Elias. So without it, readers see less of his emotional and personal side, especially his relationship with Salome. So it also suggests that Rizal may have considered Crisostomo Ibarra a more central or important character in the novel's main message, even though Elias is often viewed as nobler in terms of sacrifice and moral courage. So in the story, Elias dies while helping Ibarra escape while Ibarra survives. So this choice may symbolize Rizal's focus on Ibarra as the character who would continue the struggle for reform. Even so, Elias remains a powerful and tragic figure representing selfless sacrifice and deep love for his country. But later on, Jose Rizal regretted his decision to kill Elias in Noli Me Tangere. So Rizal admitted that he felt sorry for letting Elias die instead of Crisostomo Ibarra, that when he was writing the novel, Rizal's health was very poor and he did not think he would be able to write a continuation of the story or explore the theme of revolution more deeply. So because of this, he made certain decisions in the plot that he later wished he had changed. If he had known that he would continue the story, he said he would have kept Elias alive. So Rizal described Elias as a noble, patriotic, and selfish and self-sacrificing man, that he is a kind of person who has the right qualities to lead a revolution, that Elias fights not because of personal anger, but because he truly cares about justice and the suffering of the people. And in contrast, Rizal described Ibarra as someone more self-centered. And according to him, Ibarra only considered rebellion after he personally suffered when his property, reputation, love, and personal safety were attacked. That this means Ibarra's motivation was more personal, while Elias' motivation was for the greater good. So Rizal even suggested that a revolution led by someone driven mainly by personal hurt may not succeed. So overall, it shows Rizal's deeper reflection in his character and highlights that in his eyes, Elias represented the true spirit and qualities of a revolutionary leader. So this is the synopsis that describes the opening scene of the missing chapter Elias and Salome from Noli Me Tangere. So it begins in a simple nipa hut beside a quiet and peaceful lake. So the calm setting creates a soft and intimate mood. The Salome, A young and charming girl in her early teens is sitting on a bamboo batalan while sewing a brightly colored camisa. So this simple act of sewing shows her modest and humble life. She is patiently waiting for Elias, which already suggests her affection and devotion to him. Her beauty is compared to small wild flowers that may not immediately catch attention but reveal their true charm when looked at closely. This comparison means Salome's beauty is natural and simple, not loud or attention-seeking but gentle and sincere. When she hears footsteps, she quickly puts down her sewing and goes to the bamboo stairs where Elias arrives. So he is carrying firewood and bananas, showing that he is hardworking and thoughtful. He also brings a live dalag fish and gives it to Salome. This simple exchange of food reflects their simple provincial life and quiet closeness. So the scene highlights tenderness without dramatic words. It presents Elias not as a rebel or mysterious hero, but as an ordinary man capable of care and affection. And at the same time, it shows Salome as loving, patient, and content with simple happiness. That the peaceful atmosphere of the lake and hut contrasts with the danger and conflict that will later separate them, making this moment feel calm yet slightly bittersweet. So after that, Salome notices that Elias is quiet, serious, and deep in thought. Even without him saying anything directly, she can feel that something is wrong. That shows how close she is to him. She understands his emotion. To lighten his mood, she asked about the girls at the picnic that was interrupted by the Guardia Civil who were looking for him. So instead of answering seriously, Elias responds in a playful or cheerful way, saying that there were many beautiful girls there, including Maria Clara, who is described as the sweetheart of a rich young man who just returned from Europe. His gay mood seems forced, almost as if he is pretending to be light-hearted to hide his worries. And after that short conversation, Elias stands up to leave. His goodbye feels heavy and meaningful. When he says that it will not look good if people know he stayed there until nightfall, it suggests that he is already living a dangerous life and must protect both himself and Salome from suspicion. So his presence could bring trouble to her, that when he gently tells her not to hide her tears behind a smile, it shows how deeply he understands her, that even if Salome tries to appear strong and cheerful, Elias knows she has been crying. So this moment is full of unspoken sadness. It reveals that both of them feel the pain of separation even if they are not openly saying it. The scene highlights their quiet love, the tension of Elias' situation, and the emotional weight of a goodbye that feels more serious than usual. So the deep reason behind Salome's tears, she explains that she is not crying without cause. She will soon leave the house where she was born and raised. For her, that house is not just a simple shelter. It holds her memories, her childhood, and the presence of her mother who already passed away. Because she cannot live alone anymore, she has decided to move to Mindoro and stay with her relatives. She also mentions that she needs to pay the debt of her mother left when she died. This shows her sense of responsibility and sacrifice, that even at a young age, she carries burdens and makes practical decisions for survival. So, when Salome says that giving up the house where one was born and raised is more than just leaving a place, she means that it feels like losing a part of herself, that a home represents identity, roots, and belonging. That to abandon, it feels like abandoning one's past. Her words about a coming typhoon and a flood washing everything into the lake symbolize destruction and loss. It reflects her fear that everything she has known, her home, her memories, even her happiness with Elias may soon disappear. The storm can also symbolize the troubles in their lives, especially Elias' dangerous situation. So this scene emphasizes Salome's emotional pain, her sense of duty, and the theme of loss. It shows how both love and home can be taken away by circumstances beyond their control. So this scene shows a tender and honest conversation between Elias and Salome. So Elias notices her sadness and gently asks if anyone has spoken badly about her or if he has ever caused her worry. So his question revealed his care and concern as well as a fear that she might be tired of his friendship. By asking this, Elias shows his sensitivity and his need to be reassured that their bond is still strong even amid the sadness of their parting. So Salome quickly reassures him. She tells him not to worry and insists that she is not tired of his friendship. Her words show contentment and gratitude that she is satisfied with what she has in life. She also expresses a humble and simple attitude toward life, saying that she does not envy the rich or the wealthy. This shows her purity and focus on meaningful values rather than the material possessions. But when Elias asks, "But what?" she smiles and says that as long as she has his, she envies nothing. So that response highlights the depth of her affection and the importance of their emotional connection, that the moment emphasizes their mutual respect, trust, and the simplicity of their love, which is based on companionship, loyalty, and care rather than wealth or status. It also shows how both characters find comfort in each other during a time of uncertainty and sadness. So, in this part, Elias speaks with deep sadness and honesty about his life and the impossible situation he and Salome face. He begins by reminding Salome of his cruel past and the misfortunes that were not his fault. So, these misfortunes have followed him from his family, causing pain and suffering that he has inherited from his ancestors. So, Elias' words show that he carries not only personal grief but also the weight of family hardships that seems impossible to escape. So despite his love for Salome, Elias explains that he cannot be with her because of these inherited misfortunes. He fears that if they were together, their future children would suffer the same hardships that he and his sister experienced. And out of love and care for both Salome and their potential family, he has decided to end the relationship. He believes that this is the only way to prevent their love from bringing sorrow to future generations. Elias advises Salome to live for her relatives and to forget him, calling their love mad and futile. Even this moment of heartbreak, his words are filled with selflessness. He wants her to be safe and happy and perhaps find someone else whose life is not weighed down by inherited tragedy. And so this scene shows Elias as noble, self-sacrificing and deeply aware of the consequences of his choices, highlighting his moral and emotional depth. So, the conversation between Elias and Salome becomes even more emotional and revealing. That when Salome exclaims Elias' name reproachfully, it shows her surprise and sadness at his words. She feels hurt because she does not fully understand why he insists on keeping his distance. Elias quickly clarifies that he is not blaming her or complaining about her. Instead, he is thinking about her safety and future. He advises her to return to her relatives, explaining that if danger ever comes, such as the day when his pursuers might capture him, she will be left alone and vulnerable. His words shows his deep concern and protective nature. Elias wants Salome to live safely and to have a chance at a better life, free from the dangers that haunt him. Salome listens quietly and respectfully, absorbing his advice. Yet, despite understanding his warnings, she cannot hide her longing to be with him. She softly says, I was thinking that you might go with me. It reveals her innocent hope and willingness to share in his hardships. That this moment captures the tension between love and duty. So Elias prioritizes safety and responsibility over his personal desire to be with him. So while she struggles with her feelings, torn between love and practical sense. It highlights the nobility of Elias' sacrifice and the quiet strength of Salome's devotion, showing that their love is sincere but constrained by circumstances beyond their control. So Elias responds to Salome's wish that he might go with her by firmly saying it is impossible. He shakes his head, showing his sadness and the heavy weight of his decisions. Elias explains that he has not yet accomplished the purpose of his journey. He is searching for freedom and justice, which are more important than his personal desires. He emphasizes that his mission and responsibilities prevent him from living with her even though he cares deeply for her. Elias then recounts what happened at the picnic earlier that morning. He tells Salome that he was saved from a dangerous crocodile by Ibarra. Out of gratitude for Ibarra's heroic act, Elias vowed to repay him, even if it meant risking or sacrificing his own life. So this part of the story shows Elias' strong sense of honor, loyalty, and selflessness. He explains that no matter where he goes, even if he escapes to Mindoro with Salome, his past would eventually catch up with him. His troubles, the danger from his pursuers, and the consequences of his family's misfortunes cannot be left behind. This shows that Elias' love for Salome is constrained by duty, honor, and circumstance, making his sacrifice even more profound and tragic. So in this final part of the scene from the missing chapter of Noli Me Tangere, Salome shows her deep love and thoughtfulness for Elias even as she prepares to leave. She tenderly tells him to stay in the house after she is gone, hoping that the place will remind him of her. Salome's words show her desire to leave something lasting behind, a memory of their love and the home where she grew up. She wants Elias to feel her presence even when she is far away, imagining that he cannot dream of her and the house as if they were still together. This reflects her pure, selfless love focused on keeping their connection alive in memory. Elias reacts with a mix of emotion and despair, waving his hand and exclaiming, Woman, you will make me forget. His words show the conflict in his heart, that he wants to follow his duties and responsibilities, but Salome's tenderness makes him feel torn, almost wishing he could stay. The narrative describes him living with a heavy heart along a lonely path surrounded by somber trees with the twilight, creating a sense of melancholy and inevitability. Salome watches him go, her gaze following his fading footsteps, feeling sadness and loss. So this scene captures the bittersweet nature of their love, tender, real, and deep, yet constrained by duty, danger, and circumstance. It leaves reader with a poignant image of love and sacrifice intertwined, showing that even the purest affection must sometimes give way to the harsh realities of life.